The UFC has got Zack Snyder to direct a new UFC movie. Is this going to be the next big MMA movie that we've seen throughout the decades? I feel like each decade has had like a pretty solid one, but regardless, we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to take a look at the announcement and how people are feeling about it. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. So let me bring you to a couple announcements over here. The first one being by Discussing Film over here. Zack Snyder is set to direct a UFC movie. Dana White will produce with the UFC, with Turki Alashia also producing. I'm not familiar with who that is. My apologies, everybody. Follows a young fighter rising from the rough streets of LA to get a shot at a UFC championship. Now, it's cool that we have Zack Snyder doing this, right? That is a big name and has a ton of potential for a movie. How many times have we seen this sort of plot? And I don't know about you guys. I've never really been into any MMA movie personally. Like, Never Back Down is one of the most overrated movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I liked Here Comes the Boom. That was like an odd one, but typically like these movies aren't necessarily for me. But that's not to say I'm doubting its success or anything. Like, was Zack Snyder behind the job? Like, I feel like you could actually do something pretty solid, but I worry about just like, you know, the typical story, following a young fighter rising from the rough streets of LA to get a shot at the UFC championship. Let's take a look at the another announcement though. The UFC ended up posting this. The UFC has teamed up with Zack Snyder and Turki Alashia to create the film #Brawlers. I would imagine that Brawlers is the name of the movie, but it looks good, man. It looks good. Like, it looks promising. I like that Zack Snyder is behind it, so we have some good hands behind the movie. But it's not just about what I think about this. Let's take a look at a couple top replies from UFC, Discussing Film, all those things to kind of get a gauge on how people are feeling about this. Could have gone with Francis Ngannou's escape from Africa, the stories of hundreds of fighters from war-torn nations, but instead we get another rough streets of LA story. Kind of true. Kind of true. There are a lot of particular fighters that you could, you know, base a movie off with. Actually, Francis Ngannou's escape from Africa to become UFC champion, that would make for a pretty solid story, especially with like somebody like the mind of Zack Snyder. I think that'd be really cool, to be honest with you. But let's be real, like, do you think that they're actually going to go into Francis Ngannou? After everything that they've been through, they're not going to do a Francis Ngannou thing, but it is a perfect example. I would imagine that there's a lot of really cool fighters with like nice backstories, or even just like something to base it off of, instead of something that's so generic as what they have right here. Isn't there 50 movies with the same plot already? Yeah, kinda. With the MMA story, like, it's, you know, he's correct. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing that'll make me go, ooh, this is going to be cool. None with slow motion. Oh boy. Let's continue on to another reply. It's never going to be good as that Hugh Jackman fighting robot movie. That's so true. So true. Real Steel is what they're talking about. Real Steel is a phenomenal movie, but I wouldn't really consider that a MMA movie. It's like a boxing movie. It's like a boxing movie of the future, and that has stood the test of time. What? Real Steel's cheesy? No, I guess a little bit, but I still like it. I thought it was really well done. Tough comparison, but I honestly think Snyder's going to elevate UFC in a way no one expects. Yeah, the fact that Snyder's doing this is making me go, okay, you know what? Perhaps we're not just going to have, like, you know, a generic play. He's probably going to bring it into something that's actually really cool, and maybe we'll get, like, a 4-hour cut sometime. Great. More bullshit to water down the product. The UFC's become a content creator and nothing more. Content matters more than the product being good. I understand where he's coming from, but I would imagine that the UFC is not going to, like, lack on any fight nights or anything because they're making a UFC movie right now. It's just something that they're going to be diving into. Hopefully Superman doesn't kill anybody in this one. Could you imagine? Brings into some, like, comic book hero to fight an MMA fighter. It's never going to top these movies, Lisa Green had to say. I liked Here Comes the Boom. I liked that movie. That's a one-off for me, but, like, Never Back Down, man. I don't think I've watched this movie. Depending on, I feel like I would know if I watch this movie. Regardless, like, so overrated, guys. I'm sorry. So overrated, this movie, and I will die on that hill, okay? It was a good movie. It's just like, everyone's like, oh, it's the MMA movie, you know? Could not be more excited. I mean, it's just a picture. It's just a picture. I would imagine that there's going to be a lot of passion behind this film. I'm certainly going to watch it. I want to support the UFC, and we'll have to just wait and see to what people are saying about it. For knowing UFC fans, they're not going to be that pleased no matter the product, but hey, you know what? They're making a movie. They're diving into their content. Dana White's diving into boxing. Dana White might retire this year. Maybe he'll get into the film industry. Could you imagine? Another quick video for you today, guys. Thank you so much for being here and watching. Why don't you check out this video we also did on the recent announcement for the first GFL cards. I would love to have you guys over there. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.